Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. We have the second game on the ladder recently of a Flash going up against Snow. If you missed yesterday's video, definitely do check that out. Kind of interesting seeing Flash bend himself into the old FD build to try to counterattack Snow a little bit. But it makes sense. I'm thinking about it a lot, right? Because that type of situation... Okay, so this is a situation that comes up where it used to be good if your opponent made a Zealot, it was actually a good move to instantly make another depot and produce more Marines and expand a little bit later. Now, because that's a good move, if Protoss instantly, after you add that third depot, if they instantly go for Nexus, you got really far behind because the extra depot, the extra Marine, and the fact that you're now going to make a bunker because it's Zealot plus Dragoon coming. It slowed down the command center so much, right? So, like, for instance, I used to use that as the counter to Zealot, and nowadays what I do is I build a fourth Marine and I just bring 2 SCVs down and try to block everything and get the bunker up before the command center, right? So that's like a way that the metagame has evolved more recently. Like that, it was a very good build. There were some pros that were using the third depot and stuff. So to see Flash with the third depot instead, he says, okay, we're going to be safe against this. Then he sees the Nexus and he pulls the trigger on an FD Terran because the Nexus is so fast, it's skipped range, right? So if you go range, the Nexus isn't going to be as fast. So that's like a very interesting decision tree, I think. It's definitely one that I'm going to be thinking about. But yeah, that's like, it did a lot of damage against Snow. And, that's what can happen sometimes. If you don't have the range upgrade, then Marines just do so much better against Dragoons. So anyways, really good play there from Flash. And, Snow, of course, making it way closer than I ever thought it would be. And here we are now on Retro. Right? This is the map where we actually saw like amazing TVP between these guys. I want to say a week and a half ago or so, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. I don't remember exactly. All the Flash games are blending together a little bit, but it was that 2 factory speed mines with a Wraith that was super cool. Very close game. Now Snow using his probe here to really screw up this SCV. You can see he's adjusting his path to try to catch up. The automatic path of the workers is not as good as sometimes adjusting the path. So he was trying to catch up there, but Flash actually juked him a little bit. And you can see he's adjusting a little bit as well. And I think he'll probably just go home. But anyways, let's take a look at these builds as well. Flash takes all SCVs off gas, making Marines, getting his factory up. He should be fine here. Very quick Dragoon. By the way, I need to point out, because I was talking about this so much with the Flash TVPs. Oh, wow. It's actually way more damage than you would think there. Oof. Yeah, he's going to probably want to start a bunker right away, and he's having to go for the third depot. And he didn't really get a scout down here. Now, look, this is range, so it's going to be a slower Nexus, but Flash doesn't necessarily know this. Remember that he had just a very low health SCV. So with the 3 Marines, like, you can still pick 2 of these off if you want. But yeah, he's just going to kite back a little bit. Very good micro there from Flash, saving this one. And he pulls back. Okay, so Nexus has gone down, but this time, this is a big adjustment from Snow where he's gone range. There's actually so many things I want to say to you guys right now. So notice that Flash has his SCVs back on gas. When you take the SCVs completely off gas, you need to put 3 back on much quicker. But he starts his command center. Now, that's interesting because I don't know the exact... I think... Because I was looking at some other things, but, like, you have to... The FD switch he did, I think he saw the Nexus at such a time that he looked at that and said, okay, there's no range. We can do this. Here, that's not the case. But one thing I want to also mention that I was trying to say before we had a little bit of action there, remember... Flash was going gasless almost every game, and now we actually see him doing a lot of factory expansions. But we're seeing his opponents start to make a Zealot each game. Zealot versus factory expand is not that good. Zealot versus gasless expand is very good, right? So we see this little bend of the metagame. So like Flash's play you have, this is something you have to do at super high levels, guys. By the way, Robo right there, is you have to make sure, and I've talked about it so much on, like, for instance, Terran versus Zerg. There's so many wall-ins. We need 4 pools to counteract that. There's so many fast nexuses without Zealot. We need gasless expands to force Zealots more often. So right now, Flash is forcing a higher rate of Zealot openers against him, right? He's already really, and I talked about it in the last game here, where his builds alone are adjusting the meta already. People are starting to copy a lot of his builds. And what we see here now is he's forcing the Protoss meta to change as well. Not just by, well, yeah, by changing the meta with heavier gasless expansions, he's forcing more Zealot openers, right? So really, really cool to see. By the way, right, he didn't get up and get to scout exactly what's going on, but he is doing a 2-factory opener here, and he is getting very fast Vulture speed, which has become more trendy lately. Really like to see it. Of course, when you do this, you have to get the eBay because you just don't know what's coming. It is 2-gate Observer into Reaver. So this is probably the best thing you can do against the build that Flash is doing here. So Snow should be in pretty good, a pretty good position. Second add-on. That's very interesting. Second add-on tells us he wants to make a lot of siege tanks. Excuse me. So he tries to get in here, and he actually does slip 3 vultures by. Holy crap, I didn't think that was going to work. And lays at least 1 mine down. Might want to throw down another one here. Gets 2 probes immediately. 3 probes, 4 probes. And he gets a full scout. So he gets like 4 probes and a full scout of what's going on. So that's absolutely worth it. And you can see it's heavy siege tank production now. He is getting siege mode. His armory just now finishing up. He has double gas, so he might actually go into Goliath with this as well, but he does need some turrets. Like, he has one here, so okay, very good turret. He needs a turret up here, and he needs a turret up here. Oh, he actually, oh, okay, he started one there, but that blocks off this square, so he decided to put one here. He might want a secondary one there later. That's the only thing I can think. Or maybe, I don't know if the SCV gets trapped here. I don't think it does. I think it actually, oh no, he built his armory here? Okay, well, either way, it still can get trapped. Now, a 3rd factory coming up. Reasonable turret placements. I have to go like this to see if there's a turret under there. There is not. But sometimes when you float something in a weird location like that, Protoss will avoid it thinking there's a turret there. Because you can fully block the vision of the turret with the floating building. Okay, so Snow is going to start to come in, but he doesn't have Zealots in here. Instead, he has a Dragoon. So this is not that scary against 3 tanks. If there's 2 Zealots in here, actually, this can beat this. But with the Dragoon, like, the tanks punish the Dragoon much quicker than Zealots. Now, this is nice. He creeps up here, flash sieges, pulls back. All right, gets a decent hit there, but Snow going to pull back. I can't believe Snow is taking this as his 3rd. That's wild. All right, he calls the bluff on no turret being there. Couple tanks are sieged. Yeah, siege is everything, so there's not a real opportunity. Oh, he's going to try to go in between. All right, he gets a tank, but he takes pretty heavy damage. That Dragoon cannot be dropped out again. +1 is almost done here for Flash. He goes into 6 factory very, very quickly. Snow, in the meantime, going up to 6 gates. Still has his Reaver tech. This Nexus being here, you know, the Speed Vultures laid some mines over here and everything, so I think that might have been part of the reason why Snow expanded to here, but I feel like having your expansion there opens up real possibilities for Flash to kill your base. Whereas if it's here, not the case, right? Like, ooh, kills that Reaver. That was already pretty badly damaged, though. Like, if Flash takes this position, I don't know how Snow has any chance to win this game. And by the way, that quick early add-on has given him so many siege tanks. Holy crap. So he is pushing up, and the siege tanks are splattering Dragoons right now. Dude, this is a really different looking 6-fact from anything I've seen. Like, I think that there could be, for people whose entire lives are not studying StarCraft like mine, which is probably almost everyone that watches this, like, you might just be like, oh, it's just like another 6-fact. This is very, very different from any current 6-fact builds that we have. Okay, I'm going to actually probably, like, he's busting this so quickly. I'm going to go over this at the end and kind of show some of these differences. Because this is like... This looks so different from the other 6-facts. I'm kind of in shock right now. Now, Snow is microing like a beast. But this, like, Flash is very close to victory here. The Reaver is really going to have to be magical. There's just so few Snow units left over. And now we have Goliaths walking down as well. Flash keeping his money at a bare minimum. You'll notice that he's taken SCV off gas here to build depots. Oh, he actually has 3 there. I was going to see if it was 1-on-1. The third SCV on any geyser is actually less... mine's less quickly than the others. So it should never be like 3-0 or 3-1. 2-2 is better for saturation if you're going to use 4 SCVs. Okay, so... Or even like a 2-1 is better than a 3-0 on your geysers. Anyways, just a very small tidbit. Yeah, so Flash is very, very close to taking this game. Notice he's clearing some of the mines now. He probably should unsiege these back tanks. There's no reason to keep these siege. That's where Snow's getting all the damage for these zealot bombs. But yeah, this is such a deep tank line that Snow does not have too much to do here. There is no anti-air still. I wonder if he's made a Goliath to come down. No, he's just going Vulture Tank. I think he's realized that he can brute force his way through the rest of this. Still, you know, these Zealot Bombs are doing a great job against some of these tanks. And as the volleys go off, he tries to get the Reaver out for another shot. Doesn't look like it's going to work. And with that Reaver going down, dude, that's got to be it, right? Like, he's up 20 supply. He's got a missile turret up here now, so the Zealot Bombs can't be done anymore. Just about every probe dying. He did get a Nexus up over here. He says, Neem. It's like, sir. 7. I'm not exactly sure about that. I think he might be slightly confused about the exact build order here. But not entirely sure about that one. But look, guys, this game was, like, you can see he's very dead now. I want to jump back and look at why this is so different from some of these other 6 factories, okay? So let's jump here real quick. Okay, no, this is way too early. Because this was... Okay, so we just watched Snow get 2-0'd by Flash, and I do want to... I'm just going to pause and talk for a moment here. Because I see some of the haters in the chat, like, Flash is washed. He's losing too many games. And I've tried and been explaining that he's exploring what's actually going on. He's using older builds. He's using newer builds. Win and loss doesn't matter. Flash is gaining information on the ladder about the way people are playing right now, right? It's been over 2 years since he was active. Like, truly active and participating in the metagame. And now he's back and he's figuring it out. And we're seeing the refining of a lot of his plays now. So let me show this, right? So this was a 3rd depot. I actually want to see... I'm going to jump back just a little bit more. So this SCV rather coming down. Yeah, this is going to get caught. Hold on. And he's not going to know. So he sees a Dragoon coming out, right? So this is the first Dragoon. You can know because of the clock. The first Dragoon pops at 3:12 most of the time. Okay? So he doesn't actually get vision after that. The Zealot comes up and he kills it. And he doesn't know this game exactly what's going on. And the thing is, we talked about how Snow... the previous game went for an even faster Nexus than this. He basically went Dragoon Nexus. Flash saw that Nexus and saw the speed of it. Here he doesn't see. And that FD push that we saw previously would probably not do well because he has range already on the way before the Nexus. So by the time you hit, right, like if you go add on Siege Tank, the range is done, right? So like you don't really have the timing there. So the thing is, Flash doesn't know for sure, and he's actually going to go for the faster expansion. Part of it might also be the damage that the Zealot put on the Marines, because the Dragoon instantly coming out, like he saw exactly when the Dragoon was walking in his direction. So he probably knows he's going to lose 2 more Marines as well, right? The health of your Marines really matters, because it takes 4 goon hits to kill. And in a situation like this here, like 3 Marines Vulture beats a goon super, super hard. But when they're this damaged, the goon can kill most of it and then get away. So anyways, he goes into the actual expansion here. He doesn't have full intel as to exactly what's going on. Stops at those 3 Marines, gets the command center down as quickly as he can. Okay. So he goes into mines. This is all really normal stuff. And he still doesn't actually have intel here. So he lays some mines, right? Blocks this base. This is the expansion he doesn't want Snow to take. He has a couple vultures out. He still doesn't have any intel. He's getting speed. And please do notice, by the way, right? Okay, dude, like, honestly, I was going to go over this regardless, and I might go over it again after I stop recording this. But I have to show you a couple things here, because Flash is hedging against everything, okay? These are to prevent Snow from making a Nexus here. If Snow makes a Nexus here, Flash can never attack it. This is a really hard spot to play against in Retro in these spots, right? Like, there's no way for him to realistically bring an army here, push the ramp, and kill the Nexus, because Snow has such a short counterattack path, and he can just come up with a full, huge, like, look how open this is. Just his whole army can hit. So this is, he blocks this. Okay. But I kept telling you, he has no info. He has no idea what's going on. So let's take a look how he hedges that. See this mine? This mine is perfectly placed. If you go DT and go in this direction, you're going to get hit by this mine. If you go DT and go in this direction, you'll get hit by this mine. And then he has 2 more mines. So if a single DT comes out, first off, he will know about it here or here, and he has enough mines that even if he gets unlucky and there's a DT swipe that gets one, the odds of a DT getting through are almost 0, and he still can make some more vultures if he needs to, and he's making the eBay, okay? So, like, he has 2 mines as anti-hard-to-kill expansion, he has 2 mines as let's see him coming, and he has 2 anti-DT mines. Okay, this is so well thought out, because he doesn't have intel. He hasn't seen what's here. He's getting this, right? So he's going to have his turrets on time. You got to start your eBay around 5:30 if you don't know what's going on, if you already have mines for anti-DT. Okay? Now, here's the part that really, really gets me that's very different from a lot of things that we've been seeing right now. We're going to see it in just a second. So he has a few vultures with speed. By the way, he's probably seen the observer at this point when it floated over the mines. Okay, he runs in. He sees the shuttle, right? He sees the shuttle. He sees the observatory. He's already started his second add-on, by the way. So he's already decided, okay, we have enough speed vultures. He's getting his armory. He already got his second gas. You know, second gas and armory generally line up. You make them around the same time. There's only like one build that does that otherwise. And so he gets these in. He sees, okay, it's 2 base, Goon Obs into Reaver. Right? It's like Observer, Shuttle, Reaver is the way of things. So now he knows everything. He's still got the scouting mines. He's still got a vulture on the map to check other locations or lay mines in other locations, right? And he goes for the double add-on. So it's like, okay, now Flash is going to get his +1 going. He's going to get the turrets up that he needs. He already has this one. This is a very safety turret. This is a really, really well-placed turret. I really should place a turret there like this. There's something about me, I can't do it. I always put it like here. Anyways, the heavy siege tank production that he goes into here is very different. Now, this is something I'm thinking about because this is like the only player that I can think of that does, well, the opener is completely different and Flash is gaining different information normally, but the only player that goes double siege tank production early in the modern day might be Mihu. I can't think of anyone else. Well, Mihu regularly does it. It's kind of the way he plays most of the time. He likes to get a big clump of siege tanks. The attack that Flash ends up doing here is reminiscent of some stuff that Mihu does. So one of the problems with going for 2 factory siege tank here is it costs so much money. The factory ads are sometimes later. So let's just take a look at that, right? He has to get turrets up. So there's an anti-reaver turret. He lays an additional mine here. Lays an additional mine here. He has this floating to see the shuttle coming in. Vulture goes to the front. And now he is starting to add these factories. The factories are actually still pretty quick. Like, his optimizations on his mining are so good. But this is constant siege tank production. Look at this. He's already got 6 tanks. Now, one thing to mention about this, right? He's seen that there's no base here. I don't think he knows that there's a nexus here, but he might be starting to suspect that. Also, when you're opening up like this with the Reaver and the Observer, you're going to be on just Dragoon Reaver for a while, right? So Vultures are actually worthless against Dragoon Reaver. Dragoon Reaver is really good if it's a more Vulture-heavy attack. Okay? Like, Dragoons are a brick wall against Vultures, and Reavers just kill multiple of them, right? So heavy Vulture doesn't help. Now, when you get the quicker factories, right? I was talking about how double factory siege tank slows additional factories. The additional factories that you put up are all for Vulture production, just to make this clear. So he is trading the speed of some of these factories. These could have been a little bit quicker if he had made, like, this had been tanks and this had been Vultures, he could have gotten these up a little bit quicker, right? And then had more Vultures. Instead, he's going really heavy siege tank, which is what you need against Dragoon Reaver, and then adds these on because he doesn't need the same Vulture count. So this is... It's just no one's really 6 factory-ing quite like this. This is like, you can there's like a lot of very small adjustments, and I totally understand if you've turned the VOD off already and you're not hearing me say that I understand. This is like, some people might look at this and be like, this is the dumbest minutia ever, but like, these are the little differences that make huge differences in StarCraft or any game like StarCraft, right? Like, you can see, I think chess positions oftentimes analyze like this, where it's like, oh yes, no, this one little pawn move makes the whole game very, very different here. You know, that's what we're looking at. This is an adjustment from Flash. This is a very different, I haven't seen anyone do it quite like this. The way that he's gathered intel, he's hedged everything that's happening, and then he instantly punishes, you know, when he knows he's playing against just Dragoon Reaver. If, like, for instance, like, let's say I already had a Citadel up, this build would be garbage. It would be garbage. He'd have so many speed lots, he would just run it over. Fascinating game. Great games from Flash against Snow here. And if you've been a Flash non-believer, oh, he's washed up, I don't think he's going to be able to catch up. First off, you were dumb then, and you're even dumber now. It's so clear that Flash is going to be the best again to me. It's just completely, like, look at this. He's changing everything. His reactions are just already so good. So, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, like, really in-depth long rant at the end. We'll see you next time.